Hey, welcome everyone to the consumer tech advice video. And this video talking about how you don't really own your car depending on the make and model. Now, if you want to see the written version of this video with all my source links that I'll be showing, you can find a link to my website in the video description. Now, I know it sounds weird that I'm talking about consumer tech advice when I'm talking about cars. That's because there's so much technology in cars that has led to this whole dystopian type of mindset that you don't actually own your car. Like you just don't, right? And this seems to be becoming more problematic with more and more car manufacturers following this unfortunate trend where you have to pay a subscription fee to use certain functionalities of your car that it can physically do. So you have the hardware, the engine, and all that good stuff. It's there physically in front of you, but a lot of stuff it can do, you can't. You can't even activate it because you need to pay a subscription fee. Therefore, you don't own your car. In fact, if you're a man and woman and you have a child, are you the sole owners and guardians of the child, or is there someone else involved? You have to pay a subscription fee for owning this child. That subscription fee could go to Google, Amazon, or Meta, or some other evil conglomerate company. Tonight at 11, we'll find out more. Now, before we get into some examples and what we can do, I also want to mention that near the end of this video, I'll mention what you can do to prevent this from happening to you. All right, there's some steps you can take to mitigate this issue from occurring to you. And for anyone who tries to defend multi-billion-dollar car companies that rip off the average consumer and try to say, well, these are features, of course you should pay a subscription. It means you don't own the car. Okay, if you bought the car for cash, $60,000, you own it, you're not leasing it or anything like that, but there's functions in the car it physically can do, but you're paying a subscription, you don't own it. Anything that's a subscription fee, you don't own. You don't own your movies, your audio, like your music. You don't own your TV shows. If you're paying streaming services subscription, you don't own any of that. You don't own your car. You don't own your data and privacy because you're being tracked by Google and Apple and Meta for using all these smartphones all the time. So the reason I made this video is because of this article specifically from Engadget, where, to use the full capability of one of their new vehicles in the UK, it has 150 kilowatts or 201 horsepower. In order for you to utilize more functionality, you can enjoy such as 170 kilowatts or 228 horsepower, you have to pay for an operational fee. So the car from the dealership can handle the additional kilowatts and additional horsepower, but to do it, you have to pay a subscription fee or a one-time fee, which is very expensive, of $880 USD or 649 quid. The worst part about this is that if you pay the one-time lifetime fee and you sell the car, it doesn't transfer to the new owner, apparently. And again, some people might argue, well, it's just a little bit of horsepower. What's the big deal? Like, is that really a necessity? No, it really isn't in most cases. Look, you're not going to be racing in this car most likely, right? But the principle of it is that you have a vehicle, it can do something, but you don't get the full capability. You're told, no, you got to pay more for it because you don't own the car. It's like buying a house. You paid off your mortgage, you're set, you feel great, but you can't use the garage. You got to pay an extra monthly fee to use the garage, or you can't use the basement. Sorry, you can't use the basement, you got to pay a monthly fee, even though you paid for the house and the mortgage. It's the same equivalent thing here, unfortunately. And Forbes actually covered this type of mindset thinking back in January 2025 because they're spot on. You're slowly not owning your vehicle. So for example, in December 2021, they reported that Toyota faced criticism for requiring an $8 a month subscription to use the remote start function on key fob for certain models. This is not the remote start app that you use on your phone. I get that you need to pay a subscription fee for that. I got that free my promo when I got my Toyota, and they said you can charge a subscription after that. I get it because you have to pay for internet connectivity at the data center, the servers, and everything is working for. But the key fob, the thing you need physically to start the car and open the doors, it has a built-in remote feature to remote start it. They start charging a subscription fee for that. That has nothing to do with connecting back to Toyota servers or infrastructure of any kind. They just did that because they wanted to. And here's the worst part. After they faced backlash, Toyota clarified that the key fob remote start function would remain free for the original owner, so just the original owner, for a trial of 10 years, depending on the make and model. Why? Just make it standard. That's how it used to be, like in the early 2000s. When you got a remote starter from the manufacturer, it was yours forever. If you sold the car, that functionality would pass on to the next owner. There's no garbage like this where it's like, it's a trial for 10 years. Now, perhaps the worst culprit of not owning your cars is, this should come as no surprise, are Teslas. On my best friend circle, like my small little circle of friends, 3 of them have Teslas. And I openly asked them, hey, do you guys own the car or lease it? And like, one guy said lease, the other said, I own. I was like, wait, hold on. But all these additional features, if you go to the Tesla website, a lot of these things can be done. So for example, you can see satellite view of the maps. You could do weather and forecast precipitation, speed cameras, and live traffic views. So basically what this means is like you can see outlines of where traffic is heavily congested on the roads in the map. It's standard for some stuff, but the rest of it, of course, majority is premium. You have to pay a subscription fee. I don't have to pay this fee on Google Maps. Okay, it's 100% free. I don't have to do that. And one of my friends, you know what actually said? He's like, I don't pay for this premium garbage. I don't need it. I take a phone dock like from Amazon and he puts his phone there and uses Google Maps. So he has this gigantic screen in his Tesla. It's a beautiful looking screen, huge and very nice looking. But then he has a car dock because he wanted to pay for this trash. Rightfully so. He's right to do that. But as the principle, he bought a car he doesn't own because these functionalities are built into it. A lot of the stuff you can do, it should be able to be done natively. Now, if you were to tether your phone and feed the data into your Tesla, this should just be free then. It shouldn't cost you anything. Again, Google Maps can do it. Why can't this? So anyone who says they own a Tesla because they bought it out of cash, they're not leasing it, technically you don't own it. You don't own all the components. You have to pay a subscription fee to get the full usage of it. Actually, that's the same thing as Volkswagen. There's a lot of Tesla models where you have to pay an additional fee to get the full horsepower out of it. I think there's like ludicrous mode or some other garbage I don't really care about. But anyway, a lot of these cars have that functionality. You can't unless you pay a subscription fee, which is utter garbage. There was a big one back in 2023, which with BMW, which one of the most terrible ways to approach it was that they had started charging a subscription fee to use heated seats. So it's built into the seat. It can do it. But no, you got to pay a fee to do it. My Toyota Highlander 2020 hybrid model has heated seats. I don't pay a subscription fee. I press a button and it has 3 levels of heating that can turn on or off. And just to show just how disconnected multi-million-dollar executives are from the regular folks like you and me, Peter Notra, BMW's board member of sales and marketing, he's had an interview with AutoCart and later on said, hey, people feel that they paid double, which was actually not true, but perception is reality. I always say so. So that's the reason we stopped that. So people just stopped buying BMW. They're like, we're not going to buy it because of this thing. And he's like, no. I feel you paid double, but you actually didn't. But, we'll just let you perceive whatever you want. Mercedes-Benz, a similar thing as Volkswagen and as Tesla. You want more horsepower in your car? Pay for it. The car can do it. It can do it out of the dealership. You pull it out. Physically, it can do it. But digitally, it's been locked. You have to pay a monthly fee, a permanent activation fee, or a 12-month fee subscription upfront for the next year. Now, looking at OnStar was very popular here in Canada, United States, for kind of like roadside assistance. You just press this button at the top. It's usually near the rear view mirror. And if you can buzz them, they'll call you like a tow truck or something, or help you navigate if you're lost. Like this, you're talking like many years ago, okay? They've heavily advanced since then. So looking at their website, they're not just exclusive to Ford, at least here in Canada. They're available with other manufacturers. I mean, here, this kid is wearing Chevy headphones. Is that a real thing? Is this a joke? What? Why? Why would anyone want that? I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, so one of the things you notice is, and again, I found this from the Ford website, which then routed to the OnStar website, is Super Cruise. Enjoy the freedom of convenience and hands-free assistance technology on capable roads. Your commute will never be the same. Again, this is built into the vehicle if it supports this functionality, but you can't use it unless you have a subscription fee. And the last example is a very gray area. Now, this is a very good concern that driving.ca has mentioned is your car can save your life, but doesn't need to pay a subscription for the privilege. So basically what it's saying is like there are some vehicles that have, collision detection. There's like some sensors in the car, it'll detect if you got into a collision. Sometimes cars like my Highlander, 2020 Highlander, has an SOS button. But a lot of these things you have to pay a subscription fee for. But as a consumer, you might assume it just works out of the box. But it has a very good point here. If you need to rely on calling 911 and you get into an accident, you just assume it's just going to work, but it doesn't. Who is liable then? Is it the manufacturer, like the car manufacturer, for including those functions and buttons saying SOS or 911, but it doesn't work unless you pay a subscription because you weren't informed? So how do you avoid these situations altogether? Do your own research. I went to a Toyota dealership. The guy was just obsessed with getting a sale. He didn't know anything. So I walked out, went to a different dealership. The guy there, far more knowledgeable, much more nicer to deal with, made time for me, super nice guy. Like he was what is the pinnacle of a salesperson, respectful to the customer. The problem is he still didn't know a lot about the bells and whistles on our car. He just didn't know some of the information. He's pulling up on his cell phone, looking at the Toyota website to see if it's possible to do what I had looked up, because I was like, hey, I found this piece of information, but I don't know if it's applicable to Toyota Canada or Toyota USA. Will this work here? He's like, I don't know. You have to pull up brochures. Now, the problem here is some people are like, well, there's so many trims of Toyota, and this is every car manufacturer. There's so many models, and of each model, there's different levels of tier and functionalities and bells and whistles. And then, of course, there's so much technology now in the cars. It's hard to memorize. That is a load of trash, okay? I know people that work as finance controllers for 9 companies, right? Part of a mergers and acquisition firm. They have to look at the books and finances for 9 companies, cross-charge bills. That is complicated. That is very complicated. Like, I know folks who are very brilliant. For you to not memorize just a limited amount of models and their functionality that will be there for the whole year, a whole year, and you haven't memorized it by then, it's pretty embarrassing, especially because we bought ours in August of 2020. I remember this. This is before the new lineup of 2021 models is coming up. So he's had almost 11 months, maybe 10 months to memorize all these things. He didn't memorize them. So do your own research. Ask the tough questions. You don't like the answer. If they don't know, tell them, pull up a brochure or some piece of evidence to show I'm not going to get gypped and be stuck with a subscription fee that I didn't ask for. You'd be surprised how many horror stories you hear on the internet where people get a subscription fee they didn't know was going to happen, and they're stuck with a bill or a functionality of the vehicle they thought was going to be natively there. They just can't use it anymore. It's like a useless button. For example, some cars come with Sirius XM button. There's like a dedicated button to activate Sirius XM. You don't own that button. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you don't own that button because Sirius XM requires a subscription fee. So that button is useless. It's almost like, I think it's the chat button on the Nintendo Switch 2 controllers. You don't own that button. The button does nothing if you don't have their online service. And it's sad to say, this is the number one reason I'm kind of scared to give up my 2011 RAV4. It's a gasoline car. I'm very pro-environment. I'm one of the rare YouTubers that actually just makes a simple effort just to say, help the environment recycle at the end of every video. I've also been pretty vocal about trying to eliminate e-waste, reuse your computers, repair it, how to extend the life on it. Heck, I made a video on how to install Windows 11 on computers that does not physically support Windows 11. It goes past Microsoft's blocking software. I made a separate video to that. I'll put a link to that video in the video description. I don't believe in e-waste. It's a terrible thing. The reason I say I like my gasoline car over my Highlander, which is a hybrid, is because I can just get it fixed from my mechanic. I can fix some minor things on my own. I'm not that handy. But worst case, I go to my mechanic and it just works. There's zero subscription fees. There's no buttons I have to press where I don't own it. I own every inch of that vehicle. And that's pretty much a wrap. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my website, link in the video description. Also, these type of videos I have to do after hours and on the weekends on my own time. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. So definitely consider hitting the like button and subscribing because it literally helps my channel grow. Maybe hit the super thanks button. This is just below this video. And it helps me produce more content like this. And that's pretty much a wrap.